Good morning, lovely people. I'm in the polytunnel today and I'm going to make a humidity house. The idea of that is to take some cuttings from the blueberry bushes out the front. I've been having a look around and learning a bit about it, so I'm going to have a bash myself today. So I'll do some video and let you work along with me. First off, I've got this box which I'll show you. It's one of these plastic boxes, so what I'm going to do first is measure it and measure it twice, cut once, that's what they say. So I'm going to get the measurements exactly of this box first, so I don't make any mistake from the beginning. So I've got myself all sorted out here. I've brought myself a cup of tea out, I've got my iPad, and lucky enough we can get an internet signal in here, so I can put something on the iPad to listen to. So I've got some tools in front of me that I use, not necessarily what you might use, but this is what I'm using. So this rechargeable drill, which was really cheap from Aldi, I think, I wouldn't do without that in the garden. That's been so valuable. I've got a little square there to make sure I get a straight line when I cut. I've got my pencil. I've got some 1.5 inch screws. Excuse the dogs in the background. I've got a rechargeable screwdriver. And this is another valuable thing I wouldn't do without in the garden. I've had this for years. This saw. I get a bit intimidated by great big tools, so they're handy to me. So that's what I'm going to use. So let's get going. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut the wood. I've measured the box. This is my way of my measurements. Don't laugh. Look, 2 below 15 inches, 22 inches wide. So I'm going to get going now. I'm going to cut the wood. What I'm doing is the frame that this will sit on first. So let's see how we get on. Okay, so I've marked out this long plank. This is 4x1 timber, by the way. I've marked the measurements for the two edges and the width all along here. So I'm just going to cut it. Now I won't film that because it'll be too noisy. And I've also got some 2x1 as well. I'm going to put the legs on with that. So I'll get and cut it up into the pieces and I'll be back with you. Right, so I've sawn the length there and the two widths. So what I'm going to do now is I've got a little bit of stuff there. I'm just going to sand it off to make it nice and smooth on all the ends. And yep, I'm going to do that. Okay, so that looks better. I've taken all the roughness off the end. This wood's a little bit wet actually, but it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm not a perfectionist and I'm not a woodworker, but at least I'm having a go. But anyway, that looks perfect for the job. So what I'm going to do now is put the frame together. But what I should probably do is put part of it together and just test that the plastic box actually sits on top of it before I screw it all together. Okay, so now I've got me 2x1. I'm going to measure 4 lots of the depth of that wood for the corners to join the frame together. So that'll be 4 lots of 4-inch pieces from the 2x1. Okay, so what I've done is just cut 4 bits of these up. This is the 2x1 and I've sanded any rough bits, and these are going to go on the corners like that for me to make the frame. So what I'm going to do now is turn the box upside down, because that's the wider bit where I want it to sit on, and make the frame and make sure it fits. When you're putting the ends on the corners, make sure you leave a 1-inch gap at the top there, so that this bigger piece there fits in the gap. So I'm going to do that by standing the wood like that and just marking each corner, making sure it's flat against the edge on the other side, and making my, allowing for the wood to fit properly. Now I always use a countersink drill bit, only a small one, because I've not drilled it before, and obviously it splits the wood, so I find it easier just to countersink the wood. So I'm going to do that on all the pieces. So this is the last one. So all I'm doing is holding it to the edge. Using my drill bit with a countersink. You don't have to use the countersink, but watch your fingers. Oh, the sun's come out now, it's really warm in here. Okay, so I've finished the frame. I've turned the box upside down so I can get the right measurements on the bottom, and so that it was, it sat properly, because there's kind of, it's not like a straight, it's a beveled end on the box, so I fitted a little bit of 2x1 in between those two corner posts, just on two sides. So now I'm going to cut the wood for the bottom, and this is using the 4x1. Okay, so I've put the bottom on, measured the lengths and screwed it down, and left some gaps in between for drainage, and I'm just going to put the legs on now. Now the legs, it's up to you how high you want it from the floor, so I'm just going to do that and I'll be back. So there you go, I've got the legs on the box, and I just did the legs the same height as this plastic box. So I'm just going to see, make sure that it goes on. Here we go. So it fits on there great. No gaps. And we go around this side bit. I mean, it needn't have been, the box needn't have been as tall as that, but it's a box that I had laying around, so it'd be perfect for that job. So now I'm going to do the inside, and be back to you then. Okay, so I've lined the box with weed fabric and stapled it to the bottom, so that's where I'm going to put my growing medium. So I know in advance what I need, and the mix is 50% perlite and 50% peat moss, so I'll do it this way and then I'll probably get it right. So that's 50% perlite and peat moss on this side. I've never actually used peat moss before. But you see, you're being creative in the garden with your plants and vegetables, but you can also be creative and make your own bits and pieces for the garden. I mean, that's part of it that I love. I love growing and I love creating things like this. And probably all in all, it probably cost about €10, which is about £9 in English money, and I'm not sure what it is in dollars. And it was an old plastic lid that, well, plastic box that I had in the outhouse, and I'm nearly there, nearly fill up. So yeah, I do have a Facebook group, which would be great if anyone wants to join. The link is in the description, and we can share pictures of our gardens and anything we make. I'd love you to join that. So they are, so that's the growing medium. Now I've just got to mix it all together. Not in a very tidy way, but and in my next video I shall be doing the cuttings, the blueberry cuttings, and the cuttings that I want to do are pink lemonade. We've got 2 plants at the front and they've got some lovely shoots, new shoots on them, and I shall use those. So that's it really. Whoops. So that's it really. I'll just get the cover. I obviously need to water it before I put my cuttings in, but there's my humidity box. Which I'm really pleased with. Anyway, have a go at making one, see how you get on.